day 10. This is a live stream series every single weekday morning, Monday through Friday, 8:45 a.m. to 9 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time. The reason is to quite simply to show up, to consider this idea of thinking big, what would you like to be better or different, and then acting small. What can you do in the next 24 hours to take a little bit of progress, make a tiny little baby step towards what could be different on that dream of yours. If you are here, please say hello in the comments. I'd love to know you're here. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Would really appreciate knowing what's going on at your end. My name is Tristan White. I'm the founder and chief guide of the Culture is Everything Club. The Culture is Everything Club is a safe online space for leaders of service-based businesses to learn the skills, build the confidence, and be supported to be the best leaders they can be, and ultimately to create the best business and best team that they possibly can. I hope that wherever you are right now, you are safe, you are well, and we can have a little bit of useful thinking in this quick conversation. So yesterday, in day 9 of Think Big, Act Small in August, I raised the idea of saying no. Saying no to things that don't add value to your team, to your business, to your life, to your own energy, filling your own cup, if you will. There's so many times we say yes to everything. Aileen was here yesterday and she said she's got the disease to please. And I think we're all familiar with that concept. And so I want to continue on with that conversation today. I can see Jeffrey's here. I can see Carmel's here. Morning, guys. Hope you're well. Thanks for being here for day 10 of Think Big, Act Small in August. Hope it's all is well and you're going to have a set for a big day ahead. Yesterday, when we raised this topic of saying no, are you saying no at the right time? Are you saying no enough? I prompted you and suggested, are you in too many conversations? Are you making too many promises to people that don't necessarily need to be done by you? Or maybe they just don't need to be done at all. I also raised the idea of emails. Are you in too many email conversations? Can you simply remove yourself? Are you CC'd into things? Are you going back and forth when you could just pick up the phone, sort it out, and avoid the next 10 back and forward emails? Is the one thing I suggested yesterday. I also talked about meetings. Are you having short, sharp meetings which are purposeful and there's a reason they exist, or are they meetings for the sake of talking and meetings? There are just a few places that we can start saying no to things which might be on other people's to-do list, and we can take more control of the time and the value that we're spending with our lives. And so that's where we started. Carmel and Jeffrey, you were here yesterday. I'd love to know if you've given that a try, given it some thought, taken any action on saying no just a little bit more often to create a bit more space, maybe a little bit more focus, and maybe answering the question that the other question I asked was, when are you not needed? And I gave the example that on Wednesday between 9 and 10, I had a leadership team meeting via Zoom with the leadership team at the Physio Co, which is the healthcare company that I do lead. And at the end, there was a conversation that needed to happen, and it didn't need to have me. And I simply left the meeting. I left it to the team that were there. And for a moment, I'm like, oh, well, I'm not needed here. This is great. And off I went. And I wonder, when are you not necessarily needed to always be there at that point in time? So that's the topic we worked through yesterday. I want to continue on from that today. One, because I reckon we really need to embed these things. And secondly, I had 2 conversations about the topic with members of the Culture is Everything Club yesterday. Firstly, was with a member of the club who is launching a new course, a new program at the moment. And his dilemma was it already had more people in the course than he had hoped or expected. And he was considering whether he'd split it up and make it into 2 cohorts. And the conversation we had was, I think this time around, the answer is no, I'm not going to do more. No, that's enough. I've got enough students. I'm going to work with these and make it really valuable and not overburden myself by committing and saying more. There was a time to say no right there with that first example. The second one, which is where I'd like to continue on today, was a conversation I had with another member of the Culture is Everything Club, and that is when we are not needed. For example, when we leave a meeting or leave a conversation and we leave it to other people, how do we manage our ego of not necessarily being needed at that point in time? Do we need to get back involved and say, oh, you sure you don't need me? Or hang on, what about if we did this? No, we need to be kind enough, proud enough, and also confident enough to leave the meeting and leave it in the capable hands of other people, knowing full well that if they get stuck or there's a challenge that does need to involve you, they will circle back and involve you. So managing our ego when we say no is an important follow-up concept for to saying no. Now, I can see there's a couple of comments here, and that is that Jeffrey has certainly been thinking about it. Great. And Carmel writes, I certainly thought about it. Maybe one no delivered more of a choice than a verbal. Okay, I'm not 100% sure what the situation there, Carmel, but if you've edged your way just a little bit closer to considering a little bit of a filter as to whether do you need to be in this conversation or do you not need to be in this conversation, or am I going to say yes or am I going to say no? I think that is the situation. And you're right here, choosing not to make time for someone rather than finding them time. Right, I understand. You said clients. Clients are the ones that you really struggle with, Carmel. I reckon that you are capable enough and confident enough to provide direction and instruction and information to people, Carmel, without necessarily having to always be available and always follow up. Empowering people to take a little bit more responsibility, which is a way that we can say no, is really powerful and useful. So well done to you, Carmel, on giving some thought and edging towards it. I really like it. Jeffrey, I'd love for you to continue to edge towards it. I think you gave us a great quote yesterday, or a great suggestion as to how you go about it. As did Matt McEwen, who was here. He gave us a suggestion that says, and suggested that no, he's not the right person, but yes, here's what you can do to take more responsibility for it yourself. So there's plenty of options and ideas. As we progress through this idea of how often are we saying no, when are we not needed, and when can we possibly move on and empower others to become better leaders? Because that's what we do as leaders. Our job is to create other leaders, but if we always hanging around and always giving our opinion and always involved in every conversation, every meeting, every email chain, I don't think we're doing much creating more leaders. We're simply leading and being involved in everything. But let's talk about ego. How do we manage our ego when we decide we're not needed, or when we realize that other people are having meetings and conversations to progress projects in an aligned, useful way, and you don't necessarily have to be involved all the time? How does that make us feel? Well, I've got, there's the, oh, hang on, maybe I do need to be involved. Hang on, what are they talking about? Hang on, I think I'm important around here. I need to be part of this meeting or conversation. That's possibly the first side of things. The second one is, isn't this fantastic? I don't have to be involved in this conversation. These the people on my team who I trust and doing great work, and we will definitely circle back and they'll give me an update, but other people can get on with doing great work. And what am I going to do? Well, hang on, let's look over here. I've got a long list of things I could be doing, which hopefully are prioritized into 1, 2, 3 important parts of what need to be done to progress our vision, to progress our business, progress our team towards what we're trying to achieve in the future. And so, yeah, there can be that hollow or empty feeling or worrying feeling. And I'm very familiar with that. I worry probably too much. But I think the beauty is we create time and space by saying no to some things, then be able to focus on the more important things, which are progressing our team, progressing our business, serving more people, possibly digging deeper and engaging more deeply with our team and our clients is certainly some possibilities there. Now, I can see some comments over here. Jeffrey says, I practiced a diffused no during placing an offer on a property yesterday. Needed to place conditions on the offer, subject to finance, building inspection, etc. It was tough, but needed to be done. Jeff, let me say that again. Jeffrey, well done. That is really, really impressive. That sounded hard. It sounded like you could have easily said yes, but the answer was a no, and you did it really well. I'm impressed with that. I'm really, and you were conscious and intentional about the way you did it. If I had that button, I think I do. Let me see if I got this button for you, Jeffrey. Yes, I've still got the applause button. Congratulations, Jeffrey. I love that. I didn't realize the button was still there, but we can definitely still use it. Carmel writes, empowering people I have done. Hoist and physio peanut for a paralyzed 75 kilogram Newfoundland. I don't know how to say that. Rather than staying at work to work on it. I'm not 100% following your story again, Carmel. I apologize, but it sounds like you are making just a little bit of progress, which is great. Now, Jeffrey writes also, I asked the person requesting a task what the timeline is and suggest I need to think over it before coming back later with a response. Yeah, good, Jeffrey. Give some thought. Jim Collins famously in his most recent book, so Jim Collins wrote Good to Great, very famous business book. More recently, he wrote BE 2.0 or Beyond Entrepreneurship 2.0. And in there, I was really interested that he said that he often negotiates timelines with people that are reporting to him or doing something for him to be longer than what they're initially set. Which is counterintuitive to what most managers and leaders do, I reckon. We always want things to be done now and done by tomorrow and done by the end of the week. And he said, no, I negotiate them to be done further so that the person has got ample time and it's completely in their control to get it done. If I set the deadline too tight, then what happens is that people can't get it done, or it gets done really crappily, and as a result, we're pretty much in this cycle of reactiveness and not hitting deadlines, which is no good for culture, no good for empowerment, no good for alignment, no good for the vibe of teams and relationships. So consider negotiating a little bit more space if the task is one that does require just a bit more. Alrighty, I reckon that's it. 8:56, where I am here in Melbourne. Wherever you are, I hope you have a great day. I'm really pleased that you've been here. Carmel, thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up and being part of this Think Big Axel in August. Jeffrey, the same to you. I really appreciate it. Wherever you are, have a great day, a great weekend. My name's Tristan White. I believe the world needs more great places to work. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I'll be back same time, same place, Monday morning, 8:45 a.m. Melbourne, Australia time. Take care. Think big. Act small. See ya.